Welcome back, everyone. Today I bring you another ranked game. As you can see, we are on Airport, and I am playing a division that I haven't played in quite some time, and that's the 9th US Infantry Division. So the light motorized division we got with Northec. And I thought that it's a bit, well, not sad, but that it's a bit, yeah, it is though. It is sad that I didn't play it that much recently, because it is a good division and it is a very unique division because it's one of the light divisions that is actually viable. And yeah, it's just also a pretty useful division to know because it gets through bans and tournaments more often than not. It always depends against who you play. Because there are enough people that, especially in the higher leagues, that know about the strength of the division, and so they will still ban it. But even then, if you have limited bans, you still can get through, as I said, more often than not. So it's just useful to have as a backup. And so yeah, I wanted to try to play it a little bit more to get a feel for it. The problem is, as you can see, I'm playing against 56 Yar. That's not very good, because as we all know, 56 Yar is unbelievably broken. So I will be most likely BMP2 spammed to death. Now, Airport is a bit weird in this case, because on one hand it might seem like it's not the best because I don't have any IFVs and he has, so he can IFV spam me. But on the other hand, especially in the open area here, my ATGM carriers can actually work fairly well against his IFV spam, like from this forest specifically at least, and also from here if you want to try from the long flank from this direction. But they don't work that well in the center, so that's a bit of a disadvantage. But overall, I mean, honestly, I think I would prefer playing 9th on Airport than playing on the urban front lines, because they're using all the ATGM carriers would be so much harder. And the infantry one-on-one isn't like that much better than his dedicated anti-infantry of which he gets quite a lot, the 14-man squads. And his IFV infantry is also pretty decent. It's worse than mine, but not by that much. And well, it gets a BMP2 on top of that. So yeah, overall, I think honestly Airport isn't the worst. But overall, it's just fighting against 56 Yar is always an absolute pain in the ass, no matter where you fight it. As you can see, as always, starting with 2 recon helicopters. I'm taking the Kiowas that are more expensive with the Hydras, because they have exceptional recon optics. So I think they're worth it over the autocannon Kiowa that you get in only this division. It's like a Kiowa with, I think, what is it, a 20 mil? They bolted into the nose. But it only has very good optics, like quote unquote only very good. It's still good, but with exceptional, that's just very useful to have. As you can see, I started with double M82 snipers into the town because I thought if I can get control over this town early on, then I can establish like a sorry, a firing line from like this area and the forest here, and make it very hard for him to retake this area. So this could be nice, and then kind of do a lighter defensive deployment on the left side. You can see I wanted to start with a CUCKV, but I think I decided to not do it because it was a little bit too expensive. The CUCKVs are, I mean, they're not too expensive, I wouldn't say that, but yeah, they are just very expensive. Because they are very good against heavy tanks, but obviously 56 Yar doesn't have any heavy tanks, so it's not like as valuable, though it is still very valuable because it has a 2,800 meter range, which is pretty nice because that means that I outrange all of his BMP2s. Don't outrange his ATGM T62s though, because the Bastion also has 2,800 meter range. So there I will have to work with cover and stealth, because otherwise the CUCKVs will be dead very quickly. And I mean, they have been nerfed with the higher aim time, but I think I've said it in one video already. That doesn't make them bad. They just makes them not the best brawler unit, which was pretty fucking dumb. That a truck with an ATGM bolted on top of it was like a better brawler than any heavy tank in the game. They're still unbelievably good at long range. Because the missiles themselves are very fast, and they you have 2 of them per reload, and the second one goes off very fast as well. So you can still almost double tap tanks, because if the first missile hits and stuns, they most of the time won't have enough time to smoke off the second missile as well. You just have the initially higher aim time. That's it. But oh well, I mean, yeah, talking about the CUCKING a lot, even though I haven't even deployed it yet. So yeah, one M82 going to the left side, or to the center rather as well, with a Fold. So this is the 2-man exceptional recon squad, and the recon tow 2 vehicle that is 120 kilometers per hour, which is also why the snipers here are so good, because they have the airborne forward deployed and 120 kilometers per hour, so they're very quick. Another Fold going into the forest patch here, the tow 2 going in here to kind of cut off this angle of attack for him. And then National Guard ITO going into the tower there. As I said, just for a light defense in the open, with another ITO going into this forest patch, and the Light Rifles Dragon going into Echo itself. But mostly deploying to the center with another 2 Light Rifle Dragons, National Guard ITO, Avenger, and 2 M60s actually. Because as I said, I really wanted to push him out of here as early as possible so that he can't use his BMP2s here to dislodge me. M82s going to work against the BTR, because they can actually do that, which was one of the reasons why I deployed them here so early, because I knew that as long as there's no BMP2 here, I can get rid of pretty much everything with those. But yeah, I actually forgot about 50CR getting the ZSU-23 with exceptional optics. Funnily enough, though, as you saw, the sniper M82 can actually engage the ZSU-23. Interestingly enough, but yeah, because it has exceptional recon optics, it was able to spot them and kill one of the snipers, which is a little bit annoying. And actually, there is a fairly heavy deployment going into here. So it's actually pretty good that I had tow 2 and the ITO here, but the problem is they won't be able to do that much against the infantry here. And the sniper has also died again against all of the units there, because it's 2 AGS units, which is pretty bad against the sniper, because I still struggle from only having 2 HP. And using 2 of those early game is pretty bad, because you only get 3 of them. They aren't as broken as they were before when they were 35 points, so the same price as like every other sniper. But at 45 points, that's still an insanely strong unit. Yeah, overall, like, the engagements here didn't go too well, but now my own AGL truck can start engaging his infantry, because, as you might remember, this is one of the things that make 9th Infantry unique. It's the abundance of AGLs. Here the National Guard ITO, no idea what it was doing. It was aiming for like half an hour and not shooting anything. And then when they actually started firing, it was already killed by the double recon BMP2 and AT-62, so that wasn't optimal. But the push in the center here going fairly well. The Kiowa did get sniped by the Stinger, it's Spetsnaz GRU with the Stinger. Didn't think, I always underestimate the range it has. One M60 also has been hit quite heavily, but the advance is going on. The Avenger also being pushed a little bit further forward, because I don't want to get sniped by helicopters or planes or anything. Yeah, while this push is going well, the enemy is pushing into my sector in Echo. ITO getting a good shot on the BMP2, but because the BMP2 has good armor, the National Guard tow actually doesn't even kill it. If you don't know, this is like the super shitty tow. My idea is to have those as kind of the ATGM spam unit, and then the card of Infantry Tow 2 and the Tow 2s I get on all the other cards, like the FIV Tow 2 and then the ATGM carriers in the tank tab to actually do the damage. The Light Rifle Dragon obviously also helping with the ATGM spam, but yeah, since the Dragon nerf, those are like, they aren't good on their own anymore. You really need them to support them with like heavier ATGMs. And here you can see one of the heavier ones, the Tow 2A, is has been deployed in the center. It is a little bit more expensive than the Tow 2 because it has the tandem trait, but I still take it because, well, first of all, it's unique to the division, and if you come up against a division with area units, the extra 1 damage is very useful. The Tochu already doing a lot of damage with the 1 extra damage is that's just a monster. And for only 5 points, it is worth it. The problem is obviously if you are going against a division up against a division that doesn't have era, like 56 Yar, those 5 points are completely useless. They don't do anything. But I mean, that's kind of the risk you have to take. But as you can see on the right hand side, I have actually been able to push very, very far. My units are in his back zone now. MiG-23 comes in and strafes the Cobra, the tow Cobra. I called it in as like some quick response force to all of the vehicles he has here. MiG-23 doesn't kill it because one MiG-23 rarely kills a helicopter. Yeah, I still have to keep it landed. There is a second plane also flying around. And there is pretty much no AA on the left-hand side. You can see here CUCKING also arriving. There are a lot of vehicles on his side as well, and especially also the recon ZSU is really annoying. But like, I do have some good amount of units here in as well now. His MiG-27 AT luckily misses its missile on the M60. Also, by the way, don't take this MiG-27. In this case, I was dumb and didn't do it, but this MiG-27 is the one with the AT missile that has a longer range. By the way, killing of the landed. I had the what Razvedka saw the tow Cobra back there. But yeah, this MiG-27 has the AT missile that has a longer range, but it is manually guided, which means once it's off the rail, I can still smoke it off. The whole advantage of the fire and forget AT missile is that once it is off the rails, it is impossible to dodge. Like, you can smoke and it will still hit. Well, I mean, depending on obviously the dice roll of the accuracy stat. But the thing is, you can't counter it with smoke. While you can with the I don't know, I can't remember how it's called, but with this MiG-27 with the guided missile, you can dodge it actually with smoke. Even though I didn't even do it because I was microing elsewhere or not paying attention. Yeah, so his units are in here already now, pretty much, and the light rifles here, I didn't want to put them too far forward because you saw the big blob of vehicles back there, so they would have just died instantly. But with my units arriving, this is actually looking okay-ish. Also some AA now arriving. And on the right hand side you can see I'm trying to get the Humvee into the sector, but not driving directly into it over the road here because I was afraid of being sniped from somewhere in here. Also the ATGMs now moving forward. Again, I'm trying to move them around a little bit so they don't just don't spend too much time in the open. Well, with the TOW 2A. Don't know why the ITO wasn't moved in here as well. I might have misclicked it or something. Or I just didn't care about it that much, don't know. Yeah, also very well that I moved it, very good that I moved it because he starts artillerying it. And the command is in. Getting the back zones of your enemy on airport is always very valuable because those are the only +2 sectors. So you can see that now instantly plus me at a +2, which normally would mean that I either have to full capture Foxtrot or contest 2 of the other sectors. And this just takes forever to get there. Code in an Eagle as some additional anti-air. He doesn't even have a command on the right, so I get the full cap, which puts me at a +4 even. So very nice. Yeah, I wanted to have the F-15 flying around because one of the big disadvantages of 9th is that you have no long-range AA, like ground-based AA that is. All my units on the front end here dying because it was like, yeah, it was only light units. Could have the light rifles sit here a little bit longer to get their dragon on target, but in this case I wanted to rather retreat them to keep them alive. You can see now also more units coming into the forest patch here on the right, and there's also some T-Chaps, which is the longest range AA you get in the division. It is decent because it's just a chaparral, like a stationary chaparral. The problem is that, well, first of all, it's stationary, so it's very susceptible to artillery, and it only has 4 missiles. So you always need to have a supply vehicle together with it, otherwise it will run out of ammo very, very quickly. Obviously still has the advantage of the chaparral of being infrared, so not seeable. And this is a pretty big advantage. Enemy has now is recapturing his back zone, but the good thing is, because the back zone is so valuable, I have actually been able to like out-tick him. Now I have so many points that I will win as long as he doesn't get any more points, which obviously isn't a given, considering that he still has like, well, I haven't regained the full control over the airport sector over Echo, and I saw him moving in here, so yeah, it's pretty sure that, or pretty certain that he will be able to contest back and reverse my lead. But obviously still good that he won't be getting a win for free at least. Aito again getting hit on a BMP2, but as I said, doesn't kill because the National Guard toe is too bad. But it's also like, at least it keeps it back for the early game. Not optimal because this also means that he will be building up his vehicle blob over the course of the game if I don't get rid of it early on. But for now it's better than nothing, and I still have the ATGM units here. Yeah, I was a bit afraid of moving them further up here because, yeah, it was just a little bit risky. Do kill his command here, but as I said, he contests for long enough to get into draw territory once again. He's starting to fire his artillery, I guess at the ATGM, or maybe also at the command unit. I'm not sure, but well, either way, both are very close to each other. But because he's just using the, I think that those are Nonas, or the 122mm howitzers. I guess those are the howitzers because the Nonas wouldn't have that much range, I think. They don't do that much damage. Also, surprisingly enough, you don't see that many people using the cluster mortar anymore, even though, like, it's still good. It's just not completely broken anymore. But it's still a good unit. I mean, oh well, it's not being used anymore. So I'm not gonna complain. Like 56 is still stupidly broken either way. Get a kill on the T62 here. Don't know what unit, but I mean, yeah, you'll see there's like 2 dragons, Aito, National Guard Toe, and the Toe 2A here. So pretty good defensive line setup. Also, the M60 here is still alive, so we'll put him in the forest patch here. Artillery still firing. Those are Nonas now. Yeah, those should be Nonas. MiG-27 AT coming in. I think it just missed, honestly. Flying over all my AA and yeah, dying. The G-Chap here will be very useful. Also, 2 Stingers have also arrived on the front line on the right. I think the Avenger died at some point. Yeah, at least I can't see it anymore. There is also, yeah, 2 Avengers in the center, G-Chap and 2 Stingers here. So his aircraft will have a hard time getting out. They will most likely get through the air defense and get their missiles or bombs off. But getting out will be very rough. Have also called in the artillery now. So this is the guided artillery the Americans get. It's also the only guided artillery that NATO gets as a whole at the moment, at this point in time, if I'm not completely mistaken. So instantly target the Conquerors there. I think it could have been targeted a little bit, yeah, retargeted to actually go into the building. The problem with, like, the problem, quote unquote, in this case is that if you like slightly misclick, you will like do no damage because the spread is so small that, well, yeah, it won't spread far enough out that even if you misclicked, it will still do some damage. So you have to be very precise with it. And moving targets aren't, yeah, well, that good for you because you most likely won't scatter enough to be able to hit it once they start moving. But stationary targets are just dead so quickly, and even if, like, even vehicles, as long as they are not moving, the thing is that you will get a lot of damage in very quickly, and this will stun them, and this can actually lead to this artillery being very, very strong against vehicles if your enemy doesn't micro it enough. Cluster coming in here. Unfortunately, the T-62 just dies a second before to the ATGMs here anyway. And then the F-16 dies, so that was completely wasted. This is also like the Cluster 2, so, or the second variant. So this means that this is the actually useful American F-16 cluster with, I think, 8 cluster bombs. But yeah, well, like, kind of unfortunately, in this case, the ATGMs finished off the T-62 before the cluster could come in, and then it also died. So yeah, that's honestly a bit unfortunate considering that I think there's like 2 or 3 manpads there and it has 30% ECM, but well, it do be like that sometimes. Here I didn't want to overstretch my ATGM vehicles. You can see there's a lot of them here, like there's 3 ATGM vehicles and an M60. But I didn't want to drive too close because I don't know whether there might be some ATGM, like infantry ATGM still left here. I know that I killed 1 Conquerors, but like that's not enough for me to be sure. And I didn't want to waste them too much because I know that he has so many BMP2s that I really have to be cautious with my ATGMs to keep them alive. starts artillerying the forest patch here, which, yeah, makes a lot of sense. It was pretty obvious that I would retreat into there. Put the artillery on the BMP-2 here. You can see the spread of the guided artillery is also very, very bad once you are out of the recon corrected shot range. But in this case, I was just hoping for some good RNG, because the BMP-2 was already damaged. Another T-62 dying to the TOW-2A here, by the way. But I think the artillery won't be able to finish off the BMP-2. Yeah. So a little bit unlucky, but I think if I remember correctly, the disadvantage of the guided artillery, so the Akacia in 27Y and those 155s in 9th, is that they don't have range scaling. So normal artillery, if you didn't know, the closer you get, the tighter the spread is. But for those guided artillery, they don't have that. They just have the thing of they have pinpoint accuracy within corrected shot range, and then pretty much standard bad accuracy outside of it. Which I think is, I mean, I guess it's for balancing reasons, but I also think it is a bit weird. But, well, either way. Here I tried to counter battery him, because I thought that, you know, might get lucky with the hits, as I said, and wasn't seeing anything too valuable that would have been inside of corrected shot range, so might as well try. Even though in this case those are the nonnas, I think, so not the best idea, because those are most likely already moving. Right hand side, like, I mean, he hasn't really pushed me completely back, but he obviously has pushed me out of the sector, so I won't be able to get back in. I have deployed a FAV TOW-2 here now, so together with the M60, that's pretty good support in the forest patch here, and the FAV obviously has the advantage of being a recon unit, so it can kind of spot for itself. Here, unfortunately, I didn't tell it to stop after it fired its ATGM, so once it lost line of sight on the BMP-2, it instantly started moving and lost track on the ATGM. A bit unfortunate. Here, while I was explaining the artillery, by the way, one of the Avengers tried to duel against the Mi-24, but unfortunately died. It's always dangerous to like duel Mi-24s with AA vehicles, but in this case I was feeling cocky and instantly got punished for it. So bringing in some infantry stingers to reinforce the AA unit once again. And M60 here putting also some very good fire support downrange against the Pulimechiki. BMP-2 here has retreated. The FAV actually already needs to be resupplied because it used all its ATGMs already. Bit unfortunate. But yeah, overall, like, pushing in here will be very hard in the future. So I'm kind of preparing for a push on the left-hand side, as you can see, buying a shit ton of infantry, because I saw that there was a pretty sizable chunk of units on the right side. And considering that I've killed off several units on the left side, I thought that I should be good enough to get in here. Yes, sir. Artillery being put on the Conquerors, and now there was a problem, because you can see this is inside of corrected shot range, but the spread is still very high. Because you can actually, there's a combo you can click that kind of makes artillery ignore corrected shot if you wanted to have more spread within corrected shot range for whatever reason. And I accidentally clicked it. The problem is, I don't know what key it is that you press for this to activate, so obviously I also didn't know what key I have to press to deactivate it again, which was a bit dumb and a bit unfortunate. But I mean, I guess I had to work with it. You know, this happens sometimes when you're dumb. Or in this case, I wasn't dumb. I just misclicked, and I didn't know what I misclicked. But obviously, still pretty annoying, because the Conquerors here was able to get out of there scot-free. And here, like, here it fires normally again. So, don't know why. Also, I'm pretty sure it didn't move here, even though I told it to move after the barrage. So, this is definitely dangerous. But yeah, now a bunch of my units have deployed. Look, it might look dumb to just deploy them in the open, but the thing is, the game before that, I played 9th against Pasta, getting a nice kill on the Spetsnaz, by the way. On his Berliner, of course, as always, on Mount River, and I lost. And one of the reasons that I lost, well, first of all, I like played the division for the first time in like forever, and second of all, I tried to like smoke my way in, but the problem is, if you smoke your way in, it sounds dumb, but this actually makes it harder for you, because if you smoke and push your infantry in, you can't use your AGL as fire support, and that's the whole shtick of the division, right? So I think it's actually better to just straight march over the open with it without any smoke, and just use the AGLs and your ATGM vehicles as long-range support. Here, by the way, the M60 gets a nasty sniper from some sort of ATGM in here that I can't see, even though I have exceptional recon. Nice. I mean, I think it's fine if exceptional recon on this range doesn't see ATGMs, as long as they haven't fired. But like, I mean, they are actively firing, and I have like what is supposed to be the best recon in the game. Like, please, just let me see them once they have fired. I mean, this obviously has now pushed me back quite a lot because I wasn't able to get the M60s in, and all my AGL fire support has died. But now I'm just driving around the M60s the long way, because I thought that if he has like ATGMs in here, I could just drive around this area, and then like there's nothing he can do against that. Like, not nothing, but the infantry ATGMs won't be able to support him at least. Here, I guess the ATGM lost track. And now, yeah, look, they aren't using their corrected shot once again. So I think it must be something like shift or control or something. One of those two, but I'm not sure. I actually could have looked it up, but I honestly forgot about it. Yeah, the Mi-24 here now being a big issue. Stinger is also not just moving over the open, but is taking too long because it's just missing over and over again. So I just called in 2 Eagles very cockily. Get a kill on a MiG-23 as well. Or MiG-27 actually. Oh, okay, nice. But now against 3 MiG-23s, it's harder to say than you might imagine. Both my F-15s die, so overall, like, honestly not the best trade. Trading 2 F-15s for a MiG-24 and a MiG-23, a MiG-27 is like, yeah, could have been better. But the thing is, because I killed the MiG-24, now I can push in further. By the way, like 2 of the M60s just missing, and then a 4th one missing as well. Good fucking god. And only one of them is stunned, by the way. Like, Jesus Christ, and they're outvetted. Bruh. 65% accuracy. This one, I mean, it has less because it's reservist. By the way, if you didn't hear about it, but Eugen recently announced that they're gonna rework the whole reservist traits. So I guess the National Guard M60s should be getting better with this change, which is very, very nice. And yeah, more ATGMs still firing at me that I can't see. Well, I mean, I can see the vehicles, but I still can't see the infantry ATGMs. The Humvee command trying to get into the sector, and it actually does get through. Congress here does finally get spotted by something. I don't know why it gets spotted now. And the artillery, even though it's still spreading out like crazy, it does get a kill. Yeah, the Humvee is in, so that means that I will be able to capture the sector. M60s are under a lot of pressure though, from like 3 T-62s, and one of them does go down again. So pretty heavy losses in the department of the M60s. And I haven't been able to get my ATGM launchers in here for the moment, and, well, I mean, with all the vehicle smoke here, there wouldn't have been much of a point either way. TOW2s here have been working overtime though, and killing a bunch of BMP2s in this area, which is very useful. Deploying some AGL here as well, because I didn't want him to just move his like high HP infantry squads over the open. Because as you can see, the defenses here aren't the greatest. Calling in some F-16s as air support. Look at the T-62 and the T-62 command. FA-16 gets hit in return, unfortunately. F-16 cluster though doesn't get hit except for like some AA gun. Maybe just still the recon Shilka, I guess. So overall, pretty successful attack, honestly. Being hit by the by manpads in return. Well, I think it was a Sherlock M, actually. You know, decent outcome. At least it didn't die. And with me taking at a +2, I am more than happy with that. Sure, I will be pushed out here soon, but that puts me already 200 points ahead, and most likely even more because he still hasn't even gotten a command back in. And if he wants to push back into the sector, like I killed a lot of his mechanized units actually in this grind here. So that will buy me not a lot of time, but enough time to reinforce the sector with more defenses. And there is still a decent amount of units alive in here as well. Like, still have the CUCKV here, and the M150 TOW2, two M60s. The Avenger is being pushed in fairly aggressively to kill off the Mi-8 because it's annoying. Another Avenger in here, the TOW2, and there was the National Guard TOW somewhere here as well. I mean, there's one here, but wasn't there one in the city at some point as well? Well, apparently not anymore. And you can see the right-hand side, like, there's nothing really happening. Again, I've switched to a more defensive stance and bought in two 40mm grenade launchers. Another Stinger on the right as well. I'm feeling pretty confident holding this side here. Another T-62 dying once again, by the way. And the Nona was caught in pretty close to the front line, but unfortunately the M60s miss. A bit annoying. The Avenger once again dies to something. I don't know whether it killed the Mi-8 actually. I'm not sure. The Stinger here was out of ammo, so that's why it couldn't be used to kill the Mi-8. CUCKV fires on the BMP-2, and you can see how fast it flies. Like, it's insane. I mean, I think it's very cool, but like, never underestimate the CUCKV. It's just the ATGM speed alone mixed insanely good, and you get 4 per card again. Like, it was nerfed down to 3 at one point, and then it got buffed to 4 again. Yeah. Pretty nice, even at 110 points, that's still insane. Here the Belosaur, like, barely got out of range, but then it still got killed of the National Guard TOW, but then still got killed by, I guess, the DM60 here. So, funnily enough, that means that I'm still ticking at the +1 now. Howitzers now counter-battering his mortars. As I always say, try to get rid of mortars as early as possible, because otherwise I can get a lot of value with the smoke. Some more infantry getting put in here, because honestly I was feeling like fairly confident still that I would be able to at least hold him back here for quite some time. And dislodging enemies from this area, if you have control over this forest patch, is not impossible, but it's just very annoying. And yeah, against 56R you have to be as annoying as possible, because the division is completely broken. And looking at the time, there's like only 13 minutes left. Like, that's not nothing, but it's also not super long. And as I said, like, the defensive on the right-hand side is looking pretty good. So pretty much his only area or like angle of attack that he can use is this area here. He could try to like flank around, but you can see there's a National Guard TOW deployed already in here. Also the Kiowa Warrior to provide some oversight over the far left flank. The far right flank, well, I guess technically it could work because the FAV actually doesn't even see anything there. But it would be pretty risky at least. The howitzers, yeah, they ran out of ammo, so need to be rearmed. Will be useless for now. But with the ATGM vehicles in the forest patch here, it will also be more than impossible for him to push over the open in this area. Does actually did recap Foxtrot now some time ago. F-16 cluster tries to come in for the T-62, but gets instantly retreated by the 3 MiG-23s. Yeah, I mean, MiG-23s aren't the greatest fighters, but the thing is, you get a lot of them. Like, you can get 6 of them if you take all the 3 cards you get. And as you can see, like, if you call them in all at once, that's still a decent AA, and plus the short-range air defense you have in a deck that is also very good. It's more than enough to, like, hold your enemy back at least. And the cluster did die. FA-16 did survive, so that's good. And the other FA-16 does come in to kill off the T-62, maybe. Maverick misses, of course it does. 60% accuracy, by the way, and instantly dies to everything. So if you don't know the FA-16, it's an F-16 with an A-10 gun strapped to the bottom of it, and also gets Mavericks, which nominally have 60% accuracy, but for me they like just never hit. But still they good damage on the T-62, so it has to retreat and repair. Fortunately, the dragon here misses the ZU-23 on the little shitty vehicle here. A pretty fun one. There's also the sad part about 56CR is that it was supposed to be the crazy bootleg Soviet airborne division with like 25 billion different BTRs with some stupid stuff strapped to them. But at the end of the day, it's just a BMP2 division because it gets infinite BMP2s and nobody even uses the funny BTRs. Like, this is one of the only funny vehicles that like actually sees use. And I don't know, I just think that's sad. Here I decided to just put one of the howitzers on the Conquerors because the accuracy is so good that you have a pretty high chance of just one-tapping it, and you can see it actually worked. And put the other howitzer on the supply helicopter, but because this is out of range of the corrected shot, you can see the spread is just horrible. 2 shots and he didn't hit a single one, and now yeah, he's starting it and flying away. So didn't hit a single time. So yeah, I think it's honestly borderline useless to use those out of range of corrected shot. Except for like very few use cases where you just want to stun down your enemy. But if you actually want to hit, you need to put it within corrected shot range. The AGL, the Jeep, yeah, dies to the TOW 2. That's a bit of a waste of ammo, honestly, but well, kill is a kill, you know. Also needs to be resupplied now, but I still had the supply helicopters that resupplied the artillery to repair the M60s, so I quickly rerouted to the TOW 2 as well. My infantry here now is definitely stranded, and I think they are... I mean, this still has all its law ammo, but this one only has 1 dragon, 2 shot left, so yeah, they're running out of ammo, and as I said, they were just there to buy time, and maybe also get a command in once again, but I wasn't able to do it. 27 comes in once again, does kill the M60 because I again wasn't paying attention, unfortunately, because I could have easily smoked it off. Avenger misses, but maybe, yeah, gets the kill in return, so both the MiG-27 AT2s are down. He might have taken the other card as well, so he maybe has 2 more AT planes, which is always, you know, the danger of playing against 56R. They can have 4 AT planes, that's pretty strong. Like, well, if I say I personally run, I haven't even played it yet because I think the division is too broken to play it for me. Like, the most broken I am willing to play is 5E, and that also only because I see it get through bans in tournaments sometimes. But 56R basically never gets through bans anywhere except for maybe like Division 3 or 4. And I personally run like the MiG-27 AT1 and then the Su-25 HE, which is pretty underrated because it has 6 500-kilogram bombs. Like, yeah, sure, it's hard to get through if you push it into an AA net, but if you spot a weak AA net, the Su-25 with the 6 500-kilogram bombs can do devastating damage. And then obviously still do damage with its gun if you want to. So I think it's actually pretty good. Here, once again, quickly counter-battery the mortar so that it can't infinitely smoke his command in my zone, because that would be pretty annoying. I also don't have any command of my own in here anymore, so that's not that good, because that means that he will be able to fully capture this area. CUCKING gets a beautiful side shot on the T62 MD1, so this is the one with... No, I think this is the one without the ATGM, actually. Well, either way, it's a T62 that is now dead. 23 comes in to strafe the TOW Cobra. That makes perfect sense. Gets hit by the Avenger in return though, and top of that Chaparral missing. Bruh. But hits on the way out, so another fighter down. Pretty nice. But he has captured my zone, so that puts him at a +2, and that's not very nice, because that means that he will get 80 points per minute times 6, which means that he will definitely have enough points to get a draw and, well, yeah, even win, most likely at least. I mean, it's 408 points, but yeah, that should be enough to win. FA-16 just called in to kill off the T-62 command. It does get a kill, dies in return, but it's honestly a trade that I'm absolutely willing to take, because at this point I just need to kind of survive the last few minutes. before the game ends, and get rid of his smoke mortars, because those can still be very annoying. Also called in a drone to get me some oversight over the battlefield, even beyond his smoking. Because smoking here in this circumstance can also disrupt the line of sight of my recon here pretty badly. It does instantly go down to like the manpads and the gun AA. Obviously with 56R not having any radar AA, there also isn't any AA piece. Like all the AA pieces are able to shoot down my drones. The M60 here doing a good job fighting against the BMP-2 together with the National Guard TOW. The TOW 2 here was being smoked off by the mortar, as I said, which is pretty annoying, but howitzers should be doing a good job against the mortar here. You caught a battery. One straight to them also does die to the ATGM spam that I have built up in this forest patch here. Like this is pretty annoying to deal with if you are trying to push over this area. He is trying to kind of go around it, as you can see, by going in from the far side, but with the National Guard TOW in here as well and the M60s. That's pretty hard for him. And you can see more M60s coming in, also another TOW 2 vehicle coming in, though this one is still in the back here. If you would want to push through here, there also would be a National Guard TOW and a CUCKING. So yeah, just a lot of units for him to get through. And another Strela M dying, Strela 10M dying once again. Try to just push in his infantry, but yeah, I mean against the 40mm light rifle dragons and an M60, that's not gonna work. My helicopter instantly dies, I guess, to the Eagler here. Lol. And I'm a bit surprised that I haven't even seen the 14-man squads the whole game. Like, this is just such a bad idea to not take them. They are so unbelievably broken. This is one of the biggest reasons as to why 56R is broken. That it can just outgrind you in any infantry fighting ever. Well, obviously, if you don't take them, you can't use them. Sure, it kind of also means that you get less BMP2s, but a 14, or now I think it's a 12-man squad actually, but even a 12-man squad is still unbelievably broken. One Eagler does die, but there's another Eagler like in here or in here actually. So the UH supply does still go down. I think it was empty though, so it's not the worst case scenario. Still annoying though. Oh yeah, it is in this building actually. This UH-60 though not empty, so would want it to land honestly. And yeah, right hand side has been pretty much silent this whole time after he pushed me out of the sector there. He's trying some last-ditch effort. You can see a bunch of BMP2s coming in once again. But I just have so many M60s in here now that I can micro around the buildings here to disrupt his ATGMs. Here the M60 was pushed a little bit too far forward, so smoke it off and get it out of there. But yeah, also because his smoke mortars have died, the TOW 2 here is also now able to open fire once again, just like the ATGMs in the forest patch here. So yeah, full ATGM hell being unleashed upon him, and I am absolutely not sorry for that, because like everything is fair in war and love, especially if you're fighting against 56R. Like there is no cheese that can't be that isn't reasonable. And I mean, even in this case, well, I mean, you can call it ATGM cheese because it is actually like a bajillion ATGMs that I have deployed at this point. Well done, guys. But I mean, what else am I supposed to do? I don't have any IFVs. Like, that's the only defense I have against them. Or, like, effective defense against them. Although, actually, he has them. He has finally deployed them. The 12-man. Is it 12-man or is it 14-man? No, it is actually a 14-man squad. Jesus Christ. But, like, why did it take him so long to deploy them? What the hell? And especially in this position, like, I mean, sure, they will be able to push through here now, but then they will face one grenade launcher and a second grenade launcher. And it's only infantry. So they would take a long time to get through here, and he only has 1.5 minutes left. Okay, so this is very weird. If he would have used them earlier, like heli dropping, for example, into here, or like just using them earlier in this area, because, I mean, if he would use those units together with the millions of BMP2s he has wasted on the left-hand side and the T-62s against the ATGM wall here, and it would have pushed in back into this area, it would have been a very rough fighting for me. Because as I said, at those ranges here, you can just overwhelm ATGMs in the town or in the buildings here with just the sheer amount of BMP2s and T-62s that you get. but now it's just too late. Again, quickly counter battering. The smoke mortar, I think that's like literally all the mortars he gets dead now. He's trying to move in the infantry command now. Actually, decent idea, because this can't be sniped by ATGMs. But the problem obviously being that I also have infantry in here, and well, yeah, he only has 30 seconds left. And I have a command that I can quickly push in again to contest the sector, so yeah, he is pretty dead. Also has a second command with the Belosaur also moving up, but just quickly gets dealt with by the Toad 2A. And that's pretty much all she wrote. So 15 seconds left. He didn't want to surrender, I guess, for reasons. Don't know. Also trying to use the smoke on the command infantry. I mean, good idea by him, but it's just way too late. And yeah, that's it. Got a nice win against 56R. Well, everything win against 56R is a nice win. Enemy, you know, pretty decent player. Of course, 28 games is packed. So I guess we can all guess what division he's playing. Fuck those people. Like, if he's not only spamming 56R, then sorry for him. But if I see people that only have games with packed and they play 56R, I just assume that they only play 56R, because that's pretty much what people do with meta divisions a lot of the time. It's like with 11 ACAF or 82nd Airborne back in the day. Yeah, the snipers early on, I mean, they did fairly well, just unfortunately I wasn't able to keep them alive. To be fair, one of them did survive the whole game, but the other two died very early on. This one here getting a BTR and 2 Infinite Squads performed very well, actually. The other one only getting a Conquerors. Well, and the third one I think didn't even get a single kill. Oopsie poopsie. National Guard Tow, I mean, the thing is, as I said, they can't one-shot anything, but they're so cheap that even, like, I think the BTR AGS and the Luas here paid itself off, I'm pretty sure. AGL here getting a Metis and the enemy AGS vehicle, also pretty nice. Light rifles here performing decently well. Those are the units that push through the right-hand flank in the beginning, through the town. National Guard Tow even getting a Recon BMP2. That's definitely a very nice kill. Also nice use of the ZSU-23s by my enemy. They are very good. I just haven't been able to fit them into my deck. But as I said, I also don't know. I don't think about 56R too much. I like building decks. If you, well, I mean, of course you couldn't notice because I never talk about it. I just like building decks in general, so that's why I have a deck for every division. But then, yeah, playing 56R just, it even feels dirty to think about. Not gonna lie. The FAV Tow 2s here, this one getting a ZSU and a T62, so extremely good kill list. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to use them early on too well because the danger of Recon BMP2s is just too great. And if they push you, well, you just stand no chance because they can autocannon kill you in a matter of seconds. The Tow 2 will obviously one-shot like every BMP2, but yeah, as I said, the Recon BMP2 does spot you as well, and then the autocannon will shred you. But over the course of the game, they did get their value, definitely. Another light rifles getting a pretty good kill list. AGLs, that's just so nice. And that's the reason why this division is good. You just get a lot of fire support. And this is the problem with all the divisions that are bad. Divisions, you can instantly notice it. If a division doesn't have fire support, it's instantly bad. If a division has fire support, it's instantly at least not shit. Yeah, Tow 2A, getting also nice kill list, T62MD and the BMP2. Chaparral getting 2 planes, but the thing is, he was keeping most of his planes on the far left, which was very well done by him, because that meant that they were out of range of my AA and were able to kill my my attack aircraft once they dove for his target. So actually very well done by him. The artillery here performed very well, honestly. Like 3 Conquerors. This one got 2 120 mils Spetsnaz GRU, very high value target to kill Igla and an infantry squad. The other howitzer, let's call, yeah, the other howitzer also performed very well. Also killing a tank, that's very nice. And yeah, as I said, killing all of the smoke mortars and another Conquerors. So howitzers did their job in this game, definitely. And what did the job as well is the CUCKING. Like, look at this, 3 tanks and the ZSU and 2 BMP2s. This is a fantastic kill list. This honestly makes me hard. Like, fuck 56 yeah, man. The Eagles, I mean, they were kind of suicided, but I did have to get rid of his MiG-27, and the one MiG-24 was also very annoying. So, I mean, the skill is honestly okay for the Eagle, and remember that those are the Sparrow Eagles, which are just garbage. Because, like, a Sparrow Eagle costs 20 points more than an Su-27, and is worse in every aspect except the 10% ECM that it gets over the Su-27. Like, its missiles are worse accuracy and have less range, and you have less missiles. But it costs 20 points more. Why? What the fuck is the logic there? It doesn't even make sense if you say it's a faction balance, because the US also gets bad ground AA. So the Soviets get the better fighter and the better AA. Yeah, wow. Insane. So this is... it's very painful to be stuck with them, but they did perform decently well. Another TOW2 vehicles getting some nice kills. This one actually getting the Pulimetriki with its 50 kill. One reason why those are actually very useful because they have smoke and a 50 kill on top of it, and the TOW2 obviously. So their less stealth is definitely worth it in my opinion. M60 getting a T62 and the BMP2, nice one, and then the TOW2A here. This was the one in Echo, just insane value. 2 Belosaurs, 1 Straton M, T62, 3 BMP2s, and a Recon BMP2, just fantastic. Also surprised that he never... No, I think he targeted with artillery, but I just microed it out of the way. Yeah, well, we talked about this howitzer again. My air support planes actually didn't perform too well. I mean, they did, except for the first cluster F-16, every one of them at least got 1 kill, but I mean, 1 T-62 for an FA-16 or an F-16 cluster is really not that good. Well, this one got a ZU-23 as well, but yeah. Yeah, another TOW2, by the way, again, fantastic kill list. So the ATGM is definitely saving me. Yeah, on his side, I don't think any unit performed too well. I mean, the BMP2 here getting a few kills, but I mean, I think that pays itself off actually because BMP2s are so stupidly cheap, but overall still not that great. And MiG-23s getting the F-15s definitely was a worthwhile kill. And the MiG-24s were a little bit annoying, but as I said, even sacrificing the F-15s for it was almost worth it because it made me able to push into his sector and then get a, what was a 300 or 400 point lead. Yeah, 300 point lead overall that he wasn't able to push back again. And yeah, the other MiG-23 also pretty good kill list between the F-15, F-16, and the TOW Cobra. Actually, a very good kill list. Oh, the BMP2 here killing an M60 and the Avenger. That's good. Well, that's an extremely good value. Oh, he used the Gwozdika, not the TOW howitzers, actually. Okay. I think the Gwozdika is just a little bit too expensive. Like, rather use just the TOW howitzers. I think they also have a better availability curve, if I'm not completely mistaken. Eagle is also performing very well. But that was about it. He just wasn't able to get rid of all of my ATGMs, and then only using his high HP infantry squads towards like the last 2 minutes of the game was super weird. Yeah, but I'm not gonna complain. I got a win against 56 YA, and that makes me very happy. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Actually, I enjoyed the game because it was fairly interesting, and I did win. So that's always nice. And I hope to see you in the next one. Next video might actually be a little bit surprising. Let's see whether I will actually do it or not. But I'm not going to spoil anything. Well, let's see. And until the next time, I wish you a beautiful day, and bye-bye.